All right, we got the full summary for 11:10, and just reading this summary makes me think that this could possibly be the chapter of the year so far. Yes, I know we're only 2.5 months in, but I'm smelling like a 9 out of 10 on this chapter already. Like, we're getting all of the names of what the Gorosei's devil fruits are. Not like they're like full devil fruit names, you know, like whatever, know me, but what they are based off of, which is interesting. And we're also seeing them do stuff, like they're going in on Egghead in this chapter. And you know, like we also talked about yesterday, we're getting the conclusion of Zoro versus Lucci, but it's way more epic than what we thought. Zoro is also going in hard in this chapter. Let's get into it. So the cover of the chapter, we're starting Yamato's cover story here, where it says Yamato's Visiting Temples Journey Volume 2. I will travel Wano like Odin did. In the cover, we can see Yamato and Momonosuke looking over Wano in the Flower Capital Castle. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna start Yamato's cover story, I suppose, where she's gonna do whatever she needs to do, traveling through Wano the way that a college girl travels through Europe. You know, they gotta find themselves. And then after this, I guess she can join the Straw Hats in the final arc, I suppose. Chapter starts with reactions of some characters like Vice Admiral Bluegrass, Bonnie, Frankie, or Atlas when they see the Black Lightning. Giants and pacifistas continue destroying marine ships. In Mary Joie, Five Elders' room is now empty. There is only a huge burning magical circle on the floor in front of 5 Elders' seats. 7 minutes left until Vegapunk's message to the world. We can see Vegapunk sipping a Vega coffee in the screens. Wow, that's got to be the fastest time has ever elapsed in One Piece, especially post time skip. Because in the previous chapter, Vegapunk set up his final message for everyone to have 10 minutes to get ready to get their like video Den Mushis. And now in the next chapter, 3 minutes has passed, which is wild. 4 huge shadows emerge from magic circles that appeared around Saturn. Luffy is in shock and he says, there are 5 monsters now? In an epic full double page, we can see all members of the 5 elders in front of Luffy. All 5 elders are using their beast awakened forms with the dark flaming smoke around their necks. We can see their official English names and what beast / yokai is each one of them. Not the Akuma no Mi names, only the beast and yokai names. Saturn is a Gyuki, which is just another name for the Ushioni. We already knew that. That's done. Now, Marcus Mars is an Itsumade, a massive eerie bird. Looks like the Pokemon Archeops, but more frightening. So this is pretty cool because this was like the leading fan theory as to what Mars was going to be. And again, he was probably the easiest to guess because his silhouette was the least ambiguous. He looked like a freaking bird. And we just matched that up with a popular bird yokai. Mercury is a Hoki, or a giant boar with 4 tusks. Now, he also had a boar silhouette, so he was easier, but just through some quick Google searching, I didn't find the Huki, especially going off of what we talked about in yesterday's spoilers, but we knew that it was going to be some kind of pig or boar for sure, but didn't know that he had 4 tusks. Now, Samurai Gandhi, Ethan Barron v. Nusjuro Venus, is a Bakotsu, a skeleton horse. So that's pretty cool. And then Saint Shepherd Jupiter, or Jupiter, is a sandworm, a massive worm monster. I don't know if this is a yokai, unless he's like an Oseichu, the mimicking roundworm, or he's just not a yokai and he's just a giant sandworm, like something from Dune or something. And this is also interesting about Jupiter because if he isn't a yokai like the rest of them, that also gives more credence to him being the odd one out, which is like a popular theory with this guy. He might be a defector of the Gorosei, ultimately. I also talked about this in another video with Sai. But real quick, guys, the Patreon Q&A is finally back. If you ever had a question that you wanted to ask me and also have it featured in a video that will be on the channel weekly, well, here's your chance. You can sign up by going to the link in the description. It'll give you instant access to the Q&A thread. And also also, I really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much. But anyway, Venus uses his power to see where one of the pacifistas are, and then he runs towards it. Okay, so Venus's Bakotsu skeleton horse devil fruit can like see where things are. He has some kind of like radar type of ability. Then he turns into his hybrid form where he looks like a centaur. The lower part of his body is still a skeleton horse, but his neck and head are now the top of Nusjuro's human body. We can see him use his sword with his 2 arms. Okay, so that makes sense, similar to what Saturn can do with his Ushioni hybrid form. And then him using the sword, of course, is important because he has freaking Shodai Kitetsu, one of the 12 supreme grade blades in the world of One Piece. Not confirmed, but come on, guys, he for sure has it. I'm actually coming out with a video soon talking about him having this and how he possibly put his curse on those swords. Also, Pupi says that Venus has a black blade in this chapter, which I don't know if that literally means that his Shodai Kitetsu is like a black blade like Sushoi and Yoru, or if he's just coding it in hockey, because that would mean that Oda is now retconning his Shodai Kitetsu to be a black blade, which it originally wasn't. Venus runs around Egghead Island defeating the pacifistas. He uses frozen slashes that freeze the circuits inside the pacifistas to immobilize them, and within seconds, half of the pacifistas on Egghead Island are defeated. Okay, so a great display of power from Venus here. This is like his debut. I mean, this is a debut for all of the Gorosei, to be honest. I mean, we didn't know anything about them before Saturn transformed like last year. So this is pretty cool. I mean, the pacifistas aren't really that powerful for us to know like, oh my god, this guy is a menace, but he probably is considering how strong Saturn is. And interesting that he has frozen slashes. I don't know if this is necessarily tied to his devil fruit, although it is possible because Brook can also manipulate ice via like the nuanced abilities of his devil fruit, the icy chill of the underworld, or whatever explanation Oda gave for that. But it's also possible that it's using some kind of Gorosei magic that we still don't understand yet. You know, how they're able to communicate with each other telepathically and use those summoning circles. And regenerate, which I can assume they all can do, and we'll get into that at the end. Mars flies up and attacks Labophase, leaping on the barrier, but the barrier still holds. Okay, so that's kind of deflating a little hype there. Mars in his Itsumade bird zone form can't break through the barrier. While Luffy is fighting against Saturn, Jupiter, the sandworm, dives down into the ground. Usopp stopped the Thousand Sunny, creating a bamboo barrier thanks to his technique Green Star Bamboo Javelin. Alright, Usopp finally does something. The Sunny was kind of like sliding out of control with Brook and Lilith. And yeah, Usopp doing something here, stopping it with his Green Star Bamboo Javelin. So better than nothing, I guess. Sanji calls everyone via Denden Mushi, telling them that they must escape right now and not wait for he and Luffy. Jinbei arrives to the place where Zoro and Lucci are fighting. We can see that one of Zoro's swords is spinning in the air due to one of Lucci's attacks. Jinbei says, Sanji, Zoro is still fighting against that guy. And Sanji says, the Marimo doesn't end yet? What a burden. Zoro hears what Sanji said about him, and he looks very upset. Lucci attacks Zoro with a new technique called Shugan Mara, hand pistol spots. Zoro dodges the attack easily, while he grabs the sword that was spinning in the air. Then he attacks Lucci with a new attack called Santoryu Kokuba Maragari, 3-sword style, Huhuva Hell, Stripe Hunt. So like, where does Zoro come up with these long names for his moves? Which all ultimately just come down to Zoro holding the swords perpendicularly and moving forward. You gotta love it. Zoro defeats Lucci instantly with one attack in an amazing double page. We can see black lightning around Zoro. Alright, this is what I was talking about. Amazing sequence here. Haven't even seen it, and I already know it's gonna be amazing. Instantly, Zoro defeats Lucci with ostensibly a Conqueror Hockey attack, right? I'm assuming so. Black lightning, that's usually an indicator. Not always, but I'm assuming it is in this case. Possibly even advanced Conqueror's Hockey, of course. And I love that all it took was for Zoro to hear Sanji like doubting him, for him to just actually actually try and end the fight against a pretty formidable opponent here. Still, it's, impressive for him to not even high diff Lucci. From what I've been told, Zoro doesn't even put on his bandana in this sequence. Back to Luffy versus the 5 elders. Jupiter emerges suddenly underneath Luffy and swallows him up. But Dory and Bragi arrive at the same time. Dory and Bragi say, "What is happening here? You are not fit to be in a dark place. Taiyo Noko." In the final double page of the chapter, Dory and Bragi cut Jupiter's head with a new attack called Taiyo Noko, Sun Saw or Solar Saw. That way they free Luffy. It's almost the same scene from Little Garden when Dory saves Luffy cutting the dinosaur's head. Luffy says, "I'm free. The giants." And Bragi says, "Yeah, long time no see, Straw Hat." And Dory says, "We couldn't wait for you, so we came to pick you up. Yeah. End of chapter, no break next week. So Jupiter, the sandworm, swallowed up Luffy, then got his head freaking cut off by power creeping Dory and Bragi here. And like I was saying earlier, I'm pretty sure all of the Gorosei have regeneration at this point, so that means that Jupiter is for sure going to regenerate his head from this. And it does seem like they are going to leave very soon, because, they can't have like a conclusive battle with the Gorosei at this point. And also, what we've talked about many times, since Dory and Bragi showed up at Egghead, is that they came here to pick up Luffy because they discovered that, oh, he is now Sun God Nika, so we need to bring him back to Elbaf because we have some kind of connection to Joy Boy and Nika. And more things will be explained there for sure, such as where the final road poneglyph is, I assume, since Saul is the man marked by flames in my opinion, and he's there, and tons of other stuff, Loki and all that other stuff that we talked about before. But let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, guys, and if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.